Sound check for closed captioning. Sound check for closed captioning. Check. 1, 2, 3. Sound check for closed captioning. Check. Check. 1, 2, 3. Check. 1, 2. Sound check for closed captioning. Check. 1, 2, 3. Sound check for closed captioning. Check. 1.
Please rise for the processional.
Please be seated. It is my honor as the Vice President of the University of North Georgia to welcome you to the Spring 2017 Commencement Ceremony. Welcome. President Jacobs sends her regrets that she will be unable to be with us, but she sends her congratulations to all the families and to all the graduates. But on behalf of the entire university community, I extend a warm and sincere congratulations to each of these fine scholars and to their families and friends. Our hopes and dreams are with you today. This is a day of celebration for our graduates and for the university. As we begin our ceremony, please join me in thanking Anita Turlington, Faculty Marshal, and the Brass Ensemble for the inspiring processional. Thank you. I would be remiss if I did not recognize all of the mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, children, grandparents, relatives, and friends who stood behind our students and assisted them throughout their college careers. Thank you. Thank you for your support of our students. Students, today is a wonderful day. Here you are, donned in academic regalia whose design dates back to the Middle Ages and symbolizes your achievement and your commitment. The right to wear these robes is an honor that must be earned, and indeed, you have earned the right to wear them. We are here to honor you with the richest tradition of the academic community, a commencement ceremony, celebrating the completion of your degree and the beginning of your professional lives. UNG holds a special designation within the University System of Georgia as a state leadership institution. As such, UNG has a strong reputation for producing civic, professional, and military leaders, and our graduates are known as individuals of high personal integrity, civic engagement, and community service, along with their academic excellence. I trust that the foundation that you have received through UNG will be a catalyst to your future success, and that as graduates of UNG, you will add value and meaning to the lives of others around you. Congratulations on this milestone in your life. The Women's Ensemble, under the direction of Dr. Benjamin Shaning, will lead us in the singing of the national anthem. Will you please stand if able?
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. It is my honor as the Vice Provost to join Dr. Oates in welcoming you to today's ceremony. When I reflect upon the experience you have had at UNG and your determination to achieve this goal, I'm reminded of the story of the Apollo 13 mission that was recounted in a movie several years ago. Apollo 13 was programmed for 10 days, but it suffered a system failure en route. Jim Lovell was commander of the Apollo 13 flight. He and the crew, working closely with ground controllers, conserved the crew's electrical power and water and converted their lunar module into a lifeboat of sorts, allowing them to survive in space and return to Earth. Lovell is credited with saying, "There are people who make things happen, there are people who watch things happen, and then there are the people who wonder what happened." To be successful, you need to be one of the people who makes things happen. As a UNG graduate, you have the knowledge and critical thinking skills to solve challenging problems. You have learned the value of teamwork, perseverance, and leadership. You will make things happen. As one of the university's academic officers, I recognize the important role of our faculty in helping you to identify and develop these skills. I commend our faculty for their commitment to our students' personal and professional development and for their leadership and dedication to their disciplines. Would all the members of the faculty who are here today, including those on the platform, please rise so that we can recognize you. Please join me. Before we continue with the program, please allow me to introduce the remaining members of the platform party. Will you all please stand as your name is called? Mr. Mac McConnell, Senior Vice President for Business and Finance. Dr. Billy Wells, Senior Vice President for Leadership and Global Engagement. Dr. Janet Marling, Vice President for Student Affairs. Mr. Jeffrey Tarnowski, Vice President for University Advancement. Dr. Chris Jesperson, Dean of the College of Arts and Letters. Dr. Danny Lau, Associate Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics. Dr. Jeff Turk, Director of the Lewis F. Rogers Institute for Environmental and Spatial Analysis. Ms. Wendy Hughley, Director of Alumni Relations and Annual Giving. And Mr. Stephen Shields, Instructor of Communication and the reader for today's ceremony. Thank you all. It is now my honor to introduce our guest speaker for today's commencement ceremony. Michelle Prater joined the North Georgia Community Foundation in 2015 as its president and CEO. The foundation serves 15 counties and is dedicated to enhancing the spirit of the community and the quality of life in Northeast Georgia by building, preserving, and distributing philanthropic assets. With Ms. Prater at the helm, the organization has achieved its longtime goal of $50 million in assets and is in the process of creating a nonprofit university to provide education and development to nonprofits in North Georgia. Ms. Prater was a vice president in banking for more than 10 years. Following a mission trip to Uganda in 2005, she decided to leave corporate America and work in the nonprofit sector so that she could make a greater impact on those in need. She served as the U.S. finance manager for an international nonprofit while also overseeing 5 Chinese accounting offices located at international schools throughout China. She later worked in development management for MAP International and United Way. During this time, Ms. Prater raised more than $5 million per year for the community. In her final position with United Way of Greater Atlanta, as Senior Director of the Volunteerism Department, she created a new synergy around volunteerism that resulted in the department becoming a leading income producer for United Way and a key strategy in connecting donors to the work that they are supporting. Ms. Prater focuses on making an impact on others in her personal time as well. She has gone on mission trips to China, Romania, Bolivia, and Uganda. She has been a mentor for more than 18 years, even mentoring the same boy from first grade through his graduation in 2013. Ms. Prater earned her associate degree and her bachelor's degree in marketing and management at the University of North Georgia. She later earned an MBA in leadership development from Brunel University. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Michelle Prater.
Thank you. Hello, 2017 graduates, UNG faculty, family, and friends. I'm honored to be here and help to celebrate your day. It wasn't long ago that I was sitting exactly where you are, about to be a brand new UNG graduate. It was a day of excitement about what I had accomplished and also about what the future holds. It really feels like yesterday. When I was asked to be your keynote speaker, I was incredibly honored. I wondered what I could share that would help all of you as you enter this new chapter of your lives. As I did the math, I realized it's actually been 22 years since I sat in your chairs, which was a little painful to realize. So I began to think what I've been doing since that time. I went up to graduate school, got my MBA, had a successful corporate career, and now run the Community Foundation. It sounds glamorous, but in fact, the road to success is often quite bumpy, and my story is no different. There are great times of success and also times of struggle and despair. So I'm going to share with you 3 golden nuggets that I've learned, and in some cases the hard way, that helped me in my journey and will hopefully help you in yours. My first nugget for you is to set yourself apart. Look around right now. There are many of you graduating with the same degree. You have the same life experience. What's going to set you apart? What's going to make you different? When I started my first job out of college, I was a management associate in banking. And I'll admit, I was kind of arrogant. I thought I was wonderful. I mean, everyone in my family and my friends told me I was wonderful, so it must be true, right? I knew I had this new degree, and frankly, I thought I was the best thing to ever happen to this bank. Everyone must know that too, right? I'm going to tell you a little bit of a secret. You may be as wonderful as I thought I was, but unless you show people that you're wonderful, they're not going to know it. My employers, my coworkers didn't know that I was wonderful, and telling them really didn't do anything at all. So let me give you an example of just how arrogant I was. A few years ago, I came across a letter that I had written to the bank president after working at the bank for only 6 months. Are you ready? I told the president and CEO of the bank that I, a 6-month employee who was fresh out of college, had learned all I needed to know and that I was ready for the next step of my career. I'm pretty sure he had a good laugh at my expense. I kind of deserved it, right? Who was I to think that I was ready? My cap and gown had barely gathered dust. I'm actually surprised, but he responded. And I was even more surprised with what he said. 2 words. 2 simple words that began to define Michelle the professional. 2 words that made me realize that I need to stand out and to work hard. His response to me with these 2 words, show me. And he was right. I had to show him who I was, that I had a strong work ethic, that I was committed to the team and willing to do the work. And I did that. In order to set yourself apart in the world, you have to show what you are made of. Are you a hard worker? A team player? Are you willing to put in the extra hours to exceed your goals? I was able to show my boss that I could back up my words with my actions, and by doing all of these things, I set myself apart and showed him that I could be trusted with more responsibility. Will you do that? As time went on, I was able to develop a reputation of a strong work ethic, one that helped me in that job as well as my entire career. And did I get that promotion? Yes, but not when I thought I was ready. I got it only after I set myself apart and proved it. My second nugget for you is to embrace the unexpected. We all have a life plan. You know that plan where we've mapped out every detail of our future? We're going to do this by this by this time. You're probably thinking about yours as I say that. It's good to have one. It's good to have goals. It's good to have deadlines for yourself. But a life plan that we create doesn't account for the unexpected. And life throws so much of that at us. My life plan had the basics. Get into a good college, check. Get good grades, check. Graduate, here we are, right? Check. To get a good job after school, check. I had my entire career planned out. Become a vice president in banking at age 25, check. It was so planned out that I knew exactly where I would end up, and that was to be a big-time executive in a large corporation in Atlanta. Don't get so focused on your life plan that you miss out on unexpected opportunities that come your way. I almost did. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's go back to 2005. Okay, you were in 6th grade, probably, most of you. I was in banking for 10 years. I was a high-level manager, and I was still checking off all those boxes of my life plan. Then I was asked to go to Africa. Now, understand, I love to travel. It is a big passion of mine to see the world. But this wasn't an African safari or a luxurious vacation. This was a medical mission trip to Uganda, a place filled with hunger, pain, and loss. Being one who is always up for an adventure, I did not hesitate to say yes to this trip. Never in a million years did I think it would change the entire outcome of my future. Now, prior to this time, I had traveled. As I said, it's a passion. But my trips usually didn't include having to have a net around your bed to avoid malaria, or a place where wearing flip-flops and goggles in the shower was strongly recommended, where you couldn't drink the water and it was so hot in the middle of the night you were sweating profusely. I was more the tropical island with fruity drinks kind of traveler. Interestingly enough, I consider this trip to Uganda both the best and the worst trip of my life. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. Because I saw unbelievable pain and suffering. Our temporary clinic could only see a certain number of patients per day, and these families would start lining up at midnight to ensure that their child could be seen the following day. We would treat babies that we knew would not survive and see living conditions that were just deplorable. It was truly heartbreaking. On the flip side, we saw a close community who jumped in and helped their neighbor. A people who had an inner joy about them that we can never understand because we have too much. On our last day, my interpreter, who I called Martha, gave me a cooking spoon that she carved herself. Now, this was a woman who didn't have proper shoes on her feet, who didn't have running water, who lived in a mud hut, and yet she found a way to show gratitude to a stranger who came to help her village. She had nothing, yet she had everything. And this was a turning point for me. When I came back from this trip, I was changed. The things that had meant so much to me were completely out of sync. That life plan that I had for the rest of my life was all jumbled up, and I knew I had to make changes. As much as I loved my banking career, it no longer fulfilled me. Now, I could have stayed in that place. Many people do. They stay in a career that they know because it's comfortable and safe, even if it doesn't fulfill them. But for me, I couldn't do that. I had to take the risk. I decided that I wanted to use my education, my professional experience, and my talents to help other people have a better life. And I made the decision, and it was very difficult, to leave banking. It was very scary, but I will tell you, I haven't looked back a single day. If I hadn't been open to the unexpected, where would I be today? I honestly don't know. But I do know that I wouldn't be in my dream job, helping other nonprofits and individuals create lasting change in our community. So my advice to you is this: when the unique opportunity arises, say yes. When the chance to take the leap comes, jump. Don't sit safely on the sideline doing something you are comfortable with when your heart screams for you to do something else. Say yes to the unexpected. My last nugget for you is to never give up. Sometimes in order to make these transitions in life, you hit speed bumps. Maybe it's a job you don't love. Maybe it's a manager you're not fond of, and we've all had those, right? Maybe it's your ego blocking your path. Ultimately, there will be times in your life and career that are not easy. You'll want to throw in the towel, but don't. When I made my move to nonprofit, it wasn't easy. There were speed bumps along my way, many things that were discouraging, very long commutes, a position I didn't love, and on occasion, my own ego. But I never gave in. I kept my focus, set myself apart, and looked for those opportunities that were unexpected. 2 years ago, while working for a large nonprofit in Atlanta, I came across an article on Access WDUN about a local businessman who was retiring from the North Georgia Community Foundation and that a replacement was being sought. Another unexpected opportunity, another career-defining decision. Do I take the risk? Am I qualified? Do I stay in my safe and secure position where I've already proven myself? Or do I jump? You know the answer to that because I'm standing here. And I challenge you today, as you begin this next chapter of your life, to take these 3 golden nuggets with you. Set yourself apart by being a hard worker and a team player. Embrace the unknown. Be willing to take that risk and take that leap. And finally, and most importantly, never ever give up. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, Ms. Prater, for sharing your 3 golden nuggets with us. Among our graduates tonight are students who have surpassed the academic standards as set forth by our faculty, and it is my pleasure to recognize these honor graduates for their commitment and dedication. The names of these students are listed in your program, and they will be recognized individually as they receive their diplomas. But will you please hold your applause now until all groups stand? Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.90 and 4.0 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating summa cum laude. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.70 and 3.89 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating magna cum laude. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.50 and 3.69 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating cum laude. Will all associate degree students graduating with a grade point average of 3.5 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating with distinction. Let's give a round of applause for all of these students. Thank you. You may be seated. Academic honor societies recognize students who have excelled both academically and as leaders with their peers. Will all graduates who are members of university and departmental academic honor societies please stand? Thank you. We will now confer the degrees. Will all candidates for certificates please stand? Okay. Will all candidates for associate degrees please stand? Dr. Oates, I present to you the candidates for the associate degrees as listed in the printed program. Each of these candidates has successfully completed the requirements for the degree as set forth by the faculty, and I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the associate degree with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining, and I welcome you to the company of scholars. Please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for the bachelor's degrees please stand? Dr. Oates, I present to you the candidates for the bachelor's degree. Each of these candidates has completed the requirements of the degree as set forth by the faculty, and I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the bachelor's degree with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining, and I welcome you to the company of scholars. Please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations.
Please be seated. We will now call forward the graduates to be recognized individually. I invite Mr. Stephen Shields to take his place to announce the graduates. Ms. Cher Singleton of our Young Alumni Board will greet you as you leave the stage and welcome you as new alumni of the University of North Georgia. Marshals, please lead the graduates forward.
We now present the Associate of Arts degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters, Jordan Alexis Armour, Terry R. Armour with distinction, Brian Thomas Combs, Jr., Hugo Contreras, Wesley Kyle Crawford, Marcy Dickerson, Colleen Cayenne Echuk, Eric Gilbert, Eunice Guerrero, Fatah Hecho, Kristen Michelle Jarrett, Bai Rita Kalanji, Maria Ann Lenzo Kral with distinction, Trainisha Lyles, Robert Montgomery Pearson, Mary Elizabeth White. We now present the Associate of Science degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Lucian Michelle Jean Buckingham, Kevin Joseph Coughlin, Miriam Elena Morales. We now present the Associate of Science degree graduates from the College of Science and Mathematics. Atasha Tyann Atkins. Kimberly LaDonna Free. Roman Guerrero. Shannon Marie Haxton. Rayanna Side. Maggie Renee Sullins. We now present the Bachelor of Arts degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Jessica Lauren Brown, magna cum laude. Jenny Beatrice Casas. Ariana Melissa Cervantes. Jochebed Cervantes. Rebecca Michelle Dambeck. Lauren Elise Eckert. Justin Franklin, magna cum laude. Lynette Fry. Daniel R. Gordon, cum laude. Rachel Nicole Graham, magna cum laude. Matt Green. Brandon Conrad Jackson. Thomas Andrew Kendrick. Allison Kathleen Kinney. Thomas Arlington Klein, cum laude. Ryan Knowles, cum laude. Brianna Langston. Kayla Brooke Purvis. Andrena Brandy Mathis, magna cum laude. Yarixa Roman Garcia. Lisa Ann Scott, summa cum laude. Hudson Lai Pin Chow, cum laude. John Simon. Connor Jacob Singer. Tara Leanne Sullins. Marie Thaxton, magna cum laude. Sarah E. Thornburg Jolly, summa cum laude. Cortland Blair West, cum laude. Elijah Paul Wilder, cum laude. Terry Alton Willoughby II. Jennifer T. Young. We now present the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Design and Technology for theater degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Madeline Lucille Daly, magna cum laude. Jessica Sarah Moskowitz, magna cum laude. Sean Newman, cum laude. Natalie Parker, cum laude. Marcus Andrew Randolph. Lydia Diane Simpson, magna cum laude. We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Catherine Elizabeth Erickson Allen. Caitlin Rose Allen. Victoria A. Beck, magna cum laude. Amber Bickers. Austin Richard Bishop. Stacy Blunt. Kelsey McCall Coker. Kristen Rebecca Craig. Bonnie Rebecca Davis. Connor English. Jonathan Michael Finley. Katie Lee Forrester, summa cum laude. Dylan C. Greer. Mark D. Gienter, cum laude. Danielle Nicole Harden. Amanda Catherine Higgins. Benjamin Taylor Jordan. Mary Gwendolyn Kelly. Samantha King. Fletcher Graham Law. John David Martin. Jenna Mae McCulley. Ryan H. McDonald. Megan Louise Melanchon. Nicole Montero, magna cum laude. Tiffany Myers. Rusky Porterfield. Dioselina Fernanda Patino. Joanna Perez, cum laude. Kara Lauren Perry. Daniela Reyes. Sarah Elise Roberts, cum laude. Michael Christopher Rogers. Tracy Russo. Rachel A. Singletary Hall. Paige View. Kimberly Mae Wallace. Brittany Nicole Walters. Shelby Nicole Whitlow. Megan Willis. Catherine Carr Wood. We now present the Bachelor of Science in Film and Digital Media degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Taylor Nicole Banks. Samantha Scott Bishop. Noelia Chaparro. Taylor Luyin Chow. Helen Tomplay Van Fleet. We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the College of Science and Mathematics, Victoria Ashley Chittick, Laura Andrea Diaz Rosso, Kristen Danielle Elliott, Stephanie Frizzell, magna cum laude, Angelica Gonzalez, cum laude, Ashley M. Hall, Anna Mackenzie Hansen, Yahira Diaz Haygood, Anela Kamdzik Holdaway, Amanda Lene Kirchhoff, Heather Nicole Corey, Rebecca Lynn Kuhn, Monica Elizabeth Lavelle, New Pham, Dylan James Shearer, Rebecca Vasquez with distinction, Jordan Wiley. We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the Lewis F. Rogers Institute for Environmental and Spatial Analysis, Craig Durden, Mary Leipold, Jared McFarlane, Corey Ann Sparks.
I commend the most recent graduates of the University of North Georgia. Your hard work and your dedication have been rightfully rewarded. I offer you my personal congratulations for earning the title of graduate from this fine institution. And I ask that everyone please join me in recognizing this graduating class. Thank you. Please be seated. Graduates, judging from the applause and the smiles, it is clear that each of you should feel proud of your accomplishments. So at this time, I would like for the graduates to join me in a standing round of applause to thank your families, your friends, and all those who've given you support in pursuit of your degree. Thank you. Please be seated. Graduates, you are now lifetime members of the UNG community. We are confident that you will make your university proud wherever your journey may lead you, and we look forward to hearing of your achievements. I now call on Wendy Hughley, Director of the Alumni Relations and Annual Giving, for her congratulatory remarks.
Thank you. Graduates, congratulations. Alumni, congratulations. You are now officially members of the University of North Georgia Alumni Association, and I ask that you wear that badge proudly. It is truly my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Board of Directors and the entire UNG alumni family. And I personally thank you for allowing me to share this very, very special day with you. My guess is that if you talk to anyone who's ever graduated from university, that they would share since graduation, they've realized that the true learning really has only just begun. It's the day in and day out grind of life that tests who you really are and who you will become once you leave here. I think that they would also share that the hard work and the effort that they put into their classes was critical to their success, but that the relationships that they formed as they managed their journey through school also impacted that success, in some cases as much as their own individual effort did. I want you to do 3 things for me, and these all have a relationship theme. First, I want you to stop and take a moment, when you're about to depart from here, take a moment to think about the people that you have met, look around, the people that you have met that are also graduating today, sitting beside you, behind you, that special friend or study group that you met through the process and got you through that next exam or that final exam. Or think about these faculty members who are sitting on the front rows up here, who made their tremendous impact on your interest in a subject. And they may not have always given you the grade that you wanted, but they always gave you the inspiration and the desire and drive to keep going because they instilled in you a passion for what you were learning. Think about how these people have impacted your life, whether directly or indirectly. You know who they are. So in addition to celebrating your degree, I want you to think for a moment and celebrate the relationships that have accompanied this journey. Don't forget them. These relationships, no matter the distance, will stay with you forever, and on certain tough days may be all that takes to get you through the next day. Before you leave today, find 1 or 2 of these people and tell them that you love them. Second, I want to encourage you to stay involved as alumni. Stay in touch with UNG through social media, the UNG website, etc. Consider becoming an active part of the Young Alumni Board or the Alumni Association. Participate in shared interest groups. These groups are a great way to stay connected with your classmates, meet other alumni, and are a good way just to give a little piece of your time back to an institution that's made an impact on your life. Finally, I want you to be a fan of the University of North Georgia. I want you to be proud, be a proud graduate. As with all alumni, you will see changes over the years. Buildings will change, programs will change, faculty will come and go, some will retire, some traditions will be lost, and others will be born. And one day, you too are going to come back and say, man, this place has really, really changed. And some things have changed and may change again, but the essence of North Georgia, of UNG, even the North Georgia I experienced as I graduated 27 years ago, has not changed. It has not changed for the alumni that attended 50 years ago, nor has it changed for the graduates of 5 years ago. There's just something special about UNG. It's like a family, and now, graduates, new alumni, I am pleased to welcome you to that family. God bless.
Thank you, Wendy. As we conclude today's ceremony, I want to especially thank all of the staff involved with the planning and execution, and for making it such a special occasion. The Women's Ensemble will come forward to lead us in the University of North Georgia alma mater, which can be found at the back of your program. Following the alma mater, please remain in place for the recessional as the faculty and the graduates exit the gymnasium. Thank you, and please stand.
From the Blue Ridge Mountain foothills to the banks of Lake Lanier, memories of our alma mater we all cherish and revere, seeking courage,
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of... Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.